Colt 45 and 2 zigzags, baby, that's all we need. We can roll to the park after dark, smoke that tumbleweed. As the marijuana burn, we can take our turns, singing them dirty rap songs. Stop and hit the bong like Cheech and Chong, sell tapes from here to Hong Kong. So roll, roll, roll my joint, pick out the seeds and stems. Feeling high as hell, flying through Palmdale, skating on Dayton rims. I love Afroman, dude. That's my childhood. Blessing and a curse. Explains a lot, right? Afroman's based. That was my tribute. Yeah, he got sued for defamation for making a song about the cops that raided his house and smashed his shit. and the cops sued him. The stupidest lawsuit. And he won. And then what else? What else are we going to talk about tonight? Maybe the Iran war is about done. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. Trump making some posts about that today. Also, James Comey subpoenaed. That's right. That happened yesterday. Big news. And we're going to, this is something that's skirted under a lot of people's radar over the past 8 months. But July last year, John Solomon over Just the News reported on the grand conspiracy investigation that the FBI/DOJ launched, investigating 10 years of Democrat/deep state corruption. I've made some posts about it on Telegram and Twitter. I've mentioned it a few times in YouTube videos and Rumble videos, but that's gone under a lot of people's radar, and James Comey being subpoenaed is a part of that grand conspiracy probe. So it looks like maybe that's about to start popping off. We'll take a look at the details about it. And what else is on deck tonight? Yes, the Afroman thing. We'll take a look at Japanese Prime Minister meeting with Trump and some of the biggest news of that. Nuclear project news coming from that meeting. Nuclear energy coming up. And then we'll look at some district court judges being some douchebags, trying to halt Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s agenda, and also some Congress people, senators, also being douchebags. All right. What's up, guys? Yeah, it's warm, dude. It's warm out west. I don't like it. It's nice. It feels good, but it's bad news, actually, for a lot of us, because it was a very warm winter. Very little snowpack. Poor ski resorts. And that means snow is going to melt quick. And that means it's going to be a very dry summer, which means water shortages and probably maybe bad wildfires. So, yeah, I don't like this. I don't like all the heat. I don't like the warm winter and the already 70s degree weather when it's technically still winter. Yeah. Feels good, but feels good now. It won't be feeling so good in August when we're all breathing smoke. Did they ever find that missing Air Force general? No. From my understanding, no. Retired Air Force General McCaslin, William Neal McCaslin, still missing. Been about 3 weeks now since he disappeared from his home in New Mexico. And no, I believe he is still disappeared. I uploaded a video on that yesterday on Rumble and YouTube. 40-minute video. There's a lot of details, a lot of background to cover with that one. And I am working on a Substack article about it. Hopefully I'll publish that tomorrow with some more curated information. But super mysterious story, especially concerning his background. So Today's the first day of spring. I thought that was tomorrow. The equinox. I don't know. As soon as March 1st comes around, that's spring to me. June 1st is summer. September 1st, fall. December 1st, winter. Colorado will for sure burn this summer. It's 80 here at 9,000 elevation, dry as a bone. Ooh, that's bad. 80 at 9,000 feet? Wild. Yeah. It's going to be a bad summer. Hopefully the deep state don't start no fires. Hopefully them Antifers don't start no fires like September 2020. You remember that? Remember how bad it burned right before the 2020 election in like August, September, October? Especially on the West Coast in Oregon and California. And some of those fires were started by Antifers. Some of them at least. Yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen this summer. You just read the Farmer's Almanac is going to cease production after this year? No way. Wild. Yeah, I mean, just people go to the internet for their news anymore. Huh. That's wild. Farmer's Almanac, no more. Crazy. Speaking of which, you guys gonna be it's about gardening season. I'm super stoked for farmers market season, by the way. That last little tangent here, and then we'll get to the news. But oh man, I'm stoked for farmers market season. Those are probably starting they usually start up what? Late April, early May. I just want to go get some local stuff, man. But also, what are you guys growing? You guys going to be planting anything soon? In your own little gardens? You should. We all should. Lost skills. How to grow things. How to feed ourselves. Self-reliance. Lost skills that I think we need to desperately learn again. So even if it's just a couple little herbs, some sprouts that you have in your windowsill. You know, if you don't have any backyard, any property where you can grow things, just get a few little things to plant in your windowsill of your apartment or something. Get one of those like vertical towers, hydroponic setups. Have some fun with it. And if you live in an HOA area where they don't want you growing anything, fuck them. Fuck the HOAs. I think modern lawns are a symbol of slavery. Sidewalks too. This is your slave path. A little bit of asphalt where you're allowed to walk, right? Symbol of slave suburbia. Lawns too, right? Lawns are so pointless. We've been brainwashed to think that we need to have nice, pretty yards. But the problem of lawns, no shade, no pollen for the birds and bees, no produce, no resources, very heavily sprayed with herbicides and glyphosate, garbage, and then the social pressure of needing to keep your lawn nice and pretty to make the neighborhood look good. Oh God, I hate lawns. Dude. Yeah, I know. Farmer Juve. Well, given that screen name, I'm assuming you're planting something. You got peas, onions, potatoes, carrots in the ground already? Nice. Matt Farms for Fun. Dude, I asked the question and all the farmers channels are popping up. Matt Farms for Fun, planting peppers, tomatoes, garlic, squash, spinach. If you have chickens, nothing better for sustainable nutrition. Oh, yeah, 100%. I'm all about the chickens. I don't have any, but I would love some. Although, absolutely. Get fertilizer while it's cheap. Yeah, good comment there, right? Doesn't a good amount of ammonia go through the Strait of Hormuz? So quite a bit of raw materials for fertilizer. Price could be going up here for a little while. It's a good idea there. Get fertilizer while it's cheap. Planting the last week of March. Stuff for salads, beans, peas, squash. Stuff for salsa. Cherry, apple, pear trees too. Oh yeah, fruit trees. Nice. Matt, you got 40 egg layers? That's awesome. Do you sell your eggs or give them out for free around a community? Do you sell eggs to the local high school kids to go egg houses with? Gene's got peppers, tomatoes, herbs. Very nice. Edgar, a little early to have stuff in the ground, but very soon. Yeah, it's getting there, depending on where you're at. Some people recommend starting your seedlings indoors and then replanting them, but I'm not that into it, at least yet. Cool. If only I could plant a sardine tree. Or pot. All right, guys. Before we get into it, just want to let you know. Hey, oops, I forgot to bring that up. There it is. I got demonetized by YouTube again for the I don't know how manyth time. But when I got this main channel back, it was already demonetized. I applied for remonetization. They banned it. They denied it. And then my backup channel, which was monetized when they gave it back to me, they just demonetized that one. So got denied, got demonetized. It's been a pain in the ass. So I would appreciate if you went to check out my locals account or Patreon. Pretty much the same thing, same price. You can just subscribe to either of those and help me out with a few bucks a month. Much appreciated. And if you do, you will get access to my private Telegram chat. You'll get a link right there. You can come in, hang out, look at all the stupid memes and jokes and fun things we share in there. So private Telegram chat, and you will get a 35% coupon code to my Conscious Strength supplements. So, and you can use that coupon code as much as you want. Private Telegram chat, come in, hang out, and you help me keep doing these videos for you. So links for Patreon and locals will be down in the description below. First order of business, Iran. Trump just made this post on Truth Social. We are getting very close to meeting our objectives as we consider winding down our military efforts in the Middle East. We destroyed all their missiles and everything. They got no navy. They got no industrial base, yada, yada. Never allowing Iran to get even close to a nuke. Protecting our Middle Eastern allies, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait. The Hormuz Strait will have to be guarded and policed as necessary by other nations who use it, because the U.S. does not use it. The U.S. is now energy, we're energy sufficient, self-reliant. So we don't need any energy, at least that comes through the Strait of Hormuz. But as commenter pointed out, maybe fertilizer and other raw materials. But at least when it comes to oil, we don't need it. It shouldn't be necessary once Iran's threat is eradicated, but they got to deal with their own Strait of Hormuz that they use, including Europe. Trump made a post calling out NATO this morning as well. Without the U.S., NATO is a paper tiger. They didn't want to join the fight to stop a nuclear-powered Iran, but now that the fight is pretty much over, now they want to come help. Calls them cowards. And we will remember. Be good. This is a good reason, good excuse to leave NATO, optics-wise. Which I would be fine with that. And then this report came out this morning. Trump administration is making heavy preparations for potential use of ground troops in Iran. I saw this all over the Twitter sphere. People were freaking out and all that. But, of course, when you go read the source material, what does it say? Multiple sources briefed on the discussions told CBS News. Sources said on condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to speak publicly. He told reporters. What else? How many more anonymous sources? Oh, 2 sources said. 2 sources. What else we got? Where? How many more times? Drink every time they reference an anonymous source. Don't want to do that. I'd get shit-faced. So yeah, you just always have to take it with a grain of salt. Anonymous sources could be...
You are fake news.
But if it's not fake news, then it could also be disinformation.
Gotcha, bitch.
You know, fog of war. So. And then you see, I saw some news about mobilization, deployment of just a couple thousand Marines to the region. I saw a good video from a retired Marine who was in a Marine Expeditionary Unit, an MEU, and he was saying, dude, if you're gonna deploy any kind of serious invasion force, you deploy mechanized units, tanks, a lot more than just a couple thousand troops, especially for a country the size of Iran. Certain operational scope of Marine Expeditionary Units include maritime security. I don't think these Marines are being deployed for like an invasion force. Unless they go secure, what is that, Karg Island? That little island that just has an oil refinery on it. But the Marines are probably being deployed for tankers. Just to secure any ships going through the Strait of Hormuz. Or they'll go over there as a head fake and just come back right home. So, until something actually happens, all these reports, even deployments, it's like you can't jump to conclusions about anything. And even then, so much AI garbage on the internet right now that it's a mess. Heavy ground troops could mean 2 different things. Maybe just sending the fat ones for exercise. Fat camp. Oh, over in Kuwait. Yeah. The psyops are getting psyopsy. Right, Rick? We deserve better psyops. I love that meme. A lot of censorship still going on. Somewhat. It's far better than, previous years. End of 2020 to 2023, 4. It's not that bad, but it's still pretty bad. Economically, like, they're allowing you to have profiles on their platforms. You can have an account, but you can't monetize it. Which is a royal FU. Economic warfare they're waging. So, what up, Lance? Checking in from the captured state of Washington. How do you like that income tax they're rolling out there in Washington state? Where they claim it's just a millionaire tax. Only people who make over $1 million a year are gonna pay the income tax. And then they came out and said, well, that includes joint earners. So if there's a husband and wife, or I guess in Washington state, a husband and husband that are married, and one makes $600,000 a year, the other one makes $400,000 a year. Oh, well, then they're income taxed too. So it's joint earners. They're just going to keep right? Pushing the envelope. Drawing back the line with that one. And I believe in Washington State's Constitution, it says income taxes are unconstitutional, like illegal in their state. And that's always been one of the draws to Washington State, even though they're sales tax and they tax freaking everything extra, gas, tobacco, alcohol. It's been one of the draws, one of the things people like about Washington is there's no income tax. But not so much anymore. You got to be a millionaire to live in that dump anyway. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Thoughts on Joe Kent? I talked a lot about him on my Wednesday stream. So I would refer you to that one for my thoughts on Joe Kent. But real quick, spark notes on Joe Kent. I'm just watching the show. Watching what plays out, right? And I'm not so quick to jump to any kind of belief about anything. When it comes to Joe Kent, I mean, bro's a badass. 11 deployments, and there's a lot of shit he's done that's awesome. Now he has started to obviously going on Tucker and breaking points. He's starting to rub noses with questionable people. But I'm not so quick to throw Joe Kent under the bus, right? He could be running ops for some reason or another. Or he could be genuine in what he's doing. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to be so quick to call him a patriot, but I'm not going to be so quick to call him a traitor. I want to see how it plays out. Joe Kent's in big trouble, maybe. Some reports and theories suggest that he's a leaker. Maybe, maybe not. So. All right, back to our stuff here. Let's see, let's get to James Comey. Subpoenaed in the alleged grand conspiracy against Trump. Former FBI Director James Comey has been subpoenaed in the wide-ranging grand conspiracy case against the ex-officials who investigated and prosecuted Donald Trump. Yarp. That's what happened. Hold on. There was one detail here that I wanted to bring up. There we go. All right. Let's take a look at that grand conspiracy case. So as I said at the beginning, reporter John Solomon over at Just the News, who, for those of you that were following Q's drops many years ago, John Solomon was identified as one of the trusted reporters from the white hats in the intelligence community. So John Solomon got the deets from people on the inside to report to the public. And I think that's still somewhat the case. Back in July, check the date there, July 2025, John Solomon reported on the FBI quietly launching an investigation into a decade of Democrat Party and deep state antics. Everything ranging from the weaponized Jack Smith prosecution of Trump to Russiagate to, here's a list of just a few things, to Hillary Clinton and her private email server, to refusing to pursue foreign intelligence about possible wrongdoing in the email case, to failing to investigate the August 2020 intelligence that China was trying to hijack the 2020 election, to a Biden campaign-inspired effort to portray Hunter Biden's damning laptop as Russian disinformation, to concealing Joe Biden's apparent mental decline. I mean, we're going back like 10 years here. And they're roping in a lot of stuff into this. Now, somebody in my comments today mentioned, well, the statute of limitations on a RICO case is 5 years. Which they're right, but if there are criminal actions done to further the conspiracy, then that extends the statute of limitations. The statute of limitations extends from the last action done as part of this racketeering scheme. So if they're roping in, if the FBI and DOJ are roping in, you know, really we could say that RICO case is being furthered probably now. George Soros payoffs and paying these protesters, these anti-ICE protesters, and yeah, I'm sure it's still going on. Absolutely. So no, statute of limitations is not done yet. And what's the statute of limitations for treason? None. Capital offenses, punishable. Yeah, no statute of limitations for treason. So, that's important. Yes, Jason, the limitations apply from the most recent component of crime, and Rick, you're beyond the ongoing investigation theory. Why? Why is that? It's not theory. We have facts to prove that that's the case. So, but the fact that we're getting subpoenas now. I mean, John Brennan, as we saw a month or two back, John Brennan was scared shitless and he was lawyering up. I mean, it looks like that they're ready to sort of blow this whole thing wide open. John Brennan lawyering up, James Comey subpoenaed. And here's the thing. This subpoena is arising from a grand jury. This is a part of this grand conspiracy probe. So John Solomon reporting on it starting late June, early July last year. Now, the grand jury was convened as a part of this FBI DOJ probe. As you can see here, as I outline Catherine Herridge's outline here. The grand jury was convened January 12th, so 2 months ago. Two grand juries, actually. Ordered that 2 new federal grand juries are impaneled, and you can see where they've been impaneled. That is the Southern District of Florida, Judge Eileen Cannon's district. So that's where the grand juries are being ran out of. And then that, yep, Judge Eileen Cannon's district, and that is what gave us our Comey subpoena. So we're at the grand jury phase now. As soon as this James Comey news broke yesterday, MSNBC rolled out this faggot as soon as they could. And, dude, doesn't it look like he just rolled out of bed? It's like MSNBC saw the news break, and they rang up Andrew Weissman on emergency speed dial. We need you on now! And he literally rolled out of bed. Get on to MSNBC as soon as he could. But, Andrew Weissman, who helped on the original Russia hoax as a top Mueller team prosecutor, explained on air how the grand conspiracy legal theory is designed to reach back and potentially subpoena Obama. Yeah, absolutely. It will. You'll remember. Actually, I'm not going to get into that. I talked about this on a video yesterday on Rumble and YouTube, so I will refer you to my video yesterday. But basically, what happened last year is that like a week after John Solomon reported on this grand conspiracy case opening, Tulsi Gabbard's DNI declassified some Russiagate documents that proved Obama knew all about it being manufactured. So knowingly, Obama knew. And yeah, so there's been a lot of declassifications over the last 9 months from Tulsi Gabbard's office, having to do with Russiagate, and also not just declassifications from ODNI, but I think also the Department of Homeland Security, but having to do with Russiagate and also 2020 election. Very strategic declassifications to support passing the SAVE Act, to support this grand conspiracy probe. Almost there, guys. Almost there. I know. We're being impatient, but we're getting there. What if Bathhouse Barry already flipped behind the scenes? Yeah, what if? What if for sure? Grand juries usually meet twice a month, so they likely reviewed evidence for 4 days. I suppose. Maybe 6, 1 or 2 in January, 2 in February, 1 or 2 here in March. So yeah, 4 or 5. Clapper's an interesting one. Where the hell is he? Because John Brennan was running around like a chicken with his head cut off, trying to cover his ass. But Clapper went AWOL. Haven't seen him around. And then on Tulsi, after that House committee hearing a couple of days ago, where you had Kash Patel, Tulsi Gabbard, John Ratcliffe, the directors of all the intelligence and investigative agencies were there. FBI, CIA, ODNI, NSA, DIA. And Tulsi Gabbard was being asked about pretty much Joe Kent's resignation and 2020 election, all kinds of stuff. She's being grilled by the Democrats. Laura Loomer here. Larry Loomer has a scoop. Her scoop claims that Tulsi Gabbard's political staff expect that she's about to resign following the resignation of her colleague, Joe Kent. This comes after 2 days of her testimony in front of Congress this week, where she never once expressed support for Trump or his decisions. Instead, she used her time during the hearings to affirm President Trump's right to make decisions as POTUS, making it clear she doesn't support those decisions. That is not true. This is true. Tulsi Gabbard did not necessarily express personal support, but she did not make it clear that she doesn't support. Tulsi Gabbard went pure neutral. So this is the ramblings of an unstable woman here. But after Laura Loomer's scoop went fairly viral, there was a lot of claim on social media that Tulsi Gabbard was about to step down. Trump was asked about it today.
I thought she did a good job yesterday.
That's all he had to say. Thought she did a good job. So it doesn't sound like Tulsi Gabbard is being fired or resigning. Well, at least it doesn't sound like Trump's going to fire her. Will she resign? I don't know. Can't tell the future, but Laura could be wrong. We'll see. We'll see. Let's get to some crazy Congress people. Lisa Murkowski. Dianne Feinstein's understudy, right? One of the most rhino-y rhinos in Congress. She just submitted an amendment to the Save America Act exempting people born before 1961 from having to prove their citizenship. She is very against the SAVE Act, which, big surprise, right? And then Chuck Schumer has once again voted no on reopening the Department of Homeland Security, all but guaranteeing the funding bill will fail. And, you know, TSA lines are going to get worse. They're trying to... They just want to keep the DHS closed until ICE raids stop, but deportations will continue until morale improves. Here's a view at some of the wait lines. This was at Houston Airport. Seen videos of stuff like this all week. New York, Houston, Atlanta. Damn, I got to go to Nashville in like 3 weeks. Hope this gets resolved by then. But yeah, speaking of which, Badlands Media, Great American Restoration Tour, stop number 11. This will be my 9th one. In Nashville, Tennessee. I've never been to Nashville before. If you guys got any tips, Nashville tips, let me know. And hey, if you're in the area and want to come by, tickets still available. Or you can grab virtual tickets, watch the whole weekend from the comfort of your couch, April 9th to 12th. There in Nashville. I hope it doesn't take me 4 hours in a TSA line to get there. Although luckily I won't be going through a giant airport to do so, so I should be all right. Although, I'm going to have to try to not check a bag. That's the thing. Maybe I'll ship some stuff there. So then I have to I just need to take a carry-on. Chat says Austin Airport is a mess. Have I ever been to Austin? I drove through it. Didn't stop though. Just drove through Austin once, but I don't know. I don't know too much about the People's Republic of Austin. Rick, you just gonna drive? Supposed to fly on the 24th? Ooh, yeah, 24th is 4 days away. How far of a drive is it? Ha, ha, ha. Only steers and queers come from Texas. And you don't look much like a steer to me. Yeah, I love that movie. R.I.P. R. Lee Ermey. R.I.P. Chuck Norris, too. Yeah, that's right. Chuck Norris didn't die. He called death and told him he's coming. $1,500 You could do that in 2 days. Avoid Austin. It's a mess. Yeah. Haven't been to Texas in a while. But you know, I'm a West guy. I'm a West Coast guy. Rocky Mountains and Pacific Ocean. I like to visit the East Coast down south, but you know, I prefer elevation and forests with Douglas fir trees. All right, let's talk about Japan. Why didn't we tell anybody about Iran? Because we wanted it to be a surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor?
Why didn't you tell U.S. allies in Europe and Asia, like Japan, about the war before attacking Iran? So we are very confused about we Japanese citizens.
Well, one thing, you don't want to signal too much. You know, when we go in, we went in very hard, and we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay?
Why didn't you tell...
Look at her face. Look at her face when he says that.
We go in, we went in very hard, and we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay?
Why
She takes a deep breath. And then the video of Japan's prime minister when she saw the auto pen touring the portraits of the presidents, looks at Obama's, looks at Trump's, and that's when she laughs at Joe Biden's auto pen. Look at the pen signature. That's funny. She's awesome. But yeah, here's probably the biggest news from that press conference. U.S. and Japan announced $40 billion nuclear power project. U.S. and Japan announced a $40 billion project to build nuclear reactors in Tennessee and Alabama. Small modular reactors, SMRs. I've been talking about this, and people who haven't been should be. All about energy. Also, more nuclear news. The U.S. NNSA, I'm assuming that's a nuclear energy agency, restarts uranium purification at Y-12 using a new electro-refining process. The site's first new nuclear capability in over 20 years. Y-12's in Tennessee, right? I think it's in Tennessee. Yeah, Oak Ridge. Tennessee. So, big things coming by way of nuclear. Good news. Small modular reactors and fusion on its way. Maybe someday, if they can ever get it right. And Space-based solar power. Space-based solar power. What's the new news on that front? Solar power from space. How close is it to reality? Inside the race to create solar energy from space. Rocket Lab introduces advanced silicon solar arrays to power space-based data centers. It's not just powering space-based data centers, but also sending that electricity back down to the surface. This tech could revolutionize electricity from space, wireless power transmissions from space, space-based solar power will be economically viable by 2040. It could be economically viable now if there was investment into it. Which there is. There's investment starting, but they could do it faster. I think nuclear will be our first step. And then second will be space-based solar power. And then hopefully eventually someday we get the vacuum energy, zero-point energy systems, but that is it's a ways away. We're getting there. I do think in my lifetime that will happen, but probably later on. A lot of incremental steps that we need to take to get there, because it's too disruptive. Too disruptive. We're so bought into this paradigm of bullshit that it's going to take some time to undo. Is thorium a byproduct of all nuclear plants? It's not a byproduct, it's a fuel, right? And no, it's not used with all nuclear plants. Some can use, uranium, plutonium, but thorium is another fuel they can use. It's safer. A lot of these small modular reactors, these SMRs, they use thorium and then molten salt cooling. So, and they're super safe. So, thorium-based small modular reactors. So basically, thorium is used as the starting point, and then through the reaction process, it creates uranium isotopes. Use of thorium to breed uranium-233. And then the new cooling technology is molten salt, I believe. Use molten salt cooling, which is, it's way safer. And then using thorium as a base, as a fuel base, with the uranium isotope it creates, it's incredibly more difficult to enrich that to make weapons out of. So using molten salt cooled thorium reactors, way safer, way more difficult if you had a bad guy get their hands on it to create weapons out of. And I believe thorium is more abundant than the uranium isotopes for fuel. So anyway, molten salt cooled thorium reactors are pretty awesome, like the SMRs. You can make them quite small. I mean, you can make them small enough to power like a city block or a small city, and then just plug them all around. Then if you had more, instead of 500 miles of transmission lines needing to go from your oil refinery or your giant hydroelectric dam, you could plug a small modular reactor way closer to the city So you would only need 50 miles of transmission lines instead of 500 or 1,000. It's more decentralized if you had these small modular reactors plugged all around at different sizes. One maybe a 50 megawatt, 100 megawatt, 300 megawatt. Plug a few of them around. And they're not very large, the size of like a building, like a 2-story home, something like that. They're not very big. Quite safe. So going small modular reactors is a step toward decentralization. And then, yeah, we could talk about space-based solar power as well, which is another step toward decentralization, depending on how they implement it, but step-by-step process. I'm totally for both. But I'm also for continued progress, not just purely depending on nuclear staying there forever. Nope, what's the next step? Okay, space-based solar power. Beam that power back down to the surface with radio waves. Okay, great. More decentralization. What's the next step after that? Right? Zero-point energy. Hopefully. Born too soon. Yeah. We were born too late to explore the world, born too early to explore the cosmos, born just in time to look at a bunch of dumb shit memes on a glowing box before we go to bed. But I was gonna go to class, but then I got high. Afroman wins legal battle over songs mocking U.S. police. Shows up to court in a friggin' American flag outfit. I was gonna go to court, but then I got high. I was gonna pay my child support. Isn't that actually in his song? He's just celebrating.
Yeah, we did it, America. Yeah, we did it. Freedom of speech. Right on. Right on. Yeah, God bless America. Yeah, power to the people. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Win for the First Amendment for sure. And do you guys remember a couple of years ago? Freaking Afroman shaking hands with President himself. Afroman is
Based.
Look at that. That's his same outfit too. That's his same outfit he wore to court. Afroman spoke to a reporter after a jury sided with him in a defamation lawsuit brought by sheriff's officials in Adams County, Ohio.
Here's Afroman speaking directly after that verdict.
I didn't win. America won. America still has freedom of speech. It's still for the people, by the people.
Afroman becoming emotional there as he says this fight was bigger than him. It was about free speech and what he describes as corruption in this sheriff's department. I spoke to one supporter.
This is basically how it went down if you're totally unfamiliar with this. Yes, Rick, exactly. Born just in time to live in a live-action idiocracy movie. Yeah. But it's kind of awesome. It's kind of awesome. I remember when Afroman's house got raided a few years ago. So Cops raided. We'll go point by point. This is how the story unfolded. The cops raided Afroman's house for bullshit reasons. They stole his money, broke his door. They ate his food. Afroman had security camera footage of this. There was a cake on Afroman's counter. I think they ate some of the cake. Broke a bunch of shit. It was bad. The cops totally screwed his place up and disrespected him. No criminality found by Afroman whatsoever. No charges at all were pressed. So cops came in, messed a bunch of stuff up, didn't press any charges for no reason. Afroman spends the next 3 years making songs that make fun of all the officers involved by name, even using footage of the raid from his own CCTV cameras. Songs had titles like Randy Walters is a son of a bitch and Lick 'em Low, Lisa, accusing one of the officers of being a lesbian and sleeping with the other officers' wives. During the raid, one officer looked like he was about to eat some lemon pound cake sitting on Afroman's counter. Afroman made a whole album calling the officer fat. The cops got mad, filed a lawsuit for defamation. Afroman turns up to court in a whole American flag suit. Officers performatively mauled and cry while listening to the songs, really trying to oversell how badly the song upset them. Afroman's lawyer played the songs in court in front of the cops that the songs were making fun of. Hilarious. One officer was suing because Afroman made a song about him saying he was fucking the officer's wife. When the officer was asked if Afroman was really fucking his wife, he said, "I don't know." Nuking his own case. And establishing that there is a non-zero chance that Afroman might actually be fucking his wife. As his only witness for the trial, Afroman brought a deputy's ex-wife. The jury ruled completely in favor of Afroman. The entire thing has been a great win for free speech and absolutely hilarious. I saw some videos of the lawyer that Afroman hired. Oh God, he was this middle-aged guy with a giant beard. Looked like a pretty awesome lawyer, actually. The cases he was making. Let me see if I can find one of the clips from his lawyer. Oh yeah, dude. Shit is gold. Hold on.
My secretary print me a couple songs, rap songs, while I was pouring a cup of coffee. And the first one is Carly B, WAP. I find it bad to say what WAP means, but it's a popular song. I think it's somewhat derogatory, but then again, I'm not the audience for that song, and I know that. I know nothing in that song.
What did he say? I think he was talking about Richard Pryor. Oh, this quote here. Nobody is looking at Lil Wayne's song Pussy Monster and says, is there actually a monster there? He's pointing to Richard Pryor clearly it's jokes.
Into the mind of kids pretty well.
Yes.
When they would play Mr. Foreman's song Lemon Pound Cake, did they take that as a literal fact from your...
Are you familiar with the song Wet Ass Pussy? Yes, that is a rap song. It is. Have your students played that in class? Once, and I asked them to please turn it off. When they were listening to it, did they think that was a fact? No. Oh my God. Anyway. It's hilarious. This is the idiocracy. Afroman promises to make cannabis and firearms legal at the same time, talking about if he ran for president in 2028.
Afroman in the White House. I'm going to make it legal for you to have cannabis and your firearms at the same time.
Yeah. Idiocracy for sure, but it's hilarious though. I don't know if they had the wrong house when they raided Afroman's shit. They might have had the right house, but maybe the cops was high. Freaking Afroman. Too funny. All right, let's cruise through the last few things here. The guy that went viral for looking like Jeffrey Epstein released a video clearing up that he's not Epstein. His name's Pete. We're calling him Palm Beach Pete now. Yeah. Chinese lawyer Victor Gao hints that China may now be in possession of the entire unredacted Epstein files. This went pretty viral on the Twitter, but if you actually look at this guy's background, he's balls deep in CCP. So just reeks of propaganda, but hey.
Are you not entertained?
Wouldn't that be something? China just dropped unredacted Epstein files. They're probably just jealous. How dare Epstein blackmail more than us? How dare Israel have more blackmail than China? And I don't know if you saw this interview that Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche did with Katie Miller, Stephen Miller's wife. It's pretty good. I listened to it. But there was a section in there that sounded like some real bullshit.
As I've said, I'm the biggest conspiracy theorist you'll ever find. So when the Epstein story exploded, people online immediately connected it to the Pizzagate conspiracy theory about elite child trafficking rings. Did investigators check for any connection between Epstein and the Pizzagate controversy?
Well, when you say did investigators track, the Pizzagate conspiracy theory has been debunked repeatedly by law enforcement, not by me, by law enforcement. And I know that there's been a fair amount of searches around those certain terms.
Sure, it was totally debunked. And then you look at what happened with Epstein, where a wealthy, well-connected man was actually trafficking underage girls in elite circles. And then you begin to think, maybe things aren't a real conspiracy theory.
Well, but again, the only thing we can do in a conspiracy theory, Katie, is investigate. Okay, so it's easy to say on X or to say, I think there's an issue here, but how do we, let's investigate. So we investigated all the times that the certain buzzwords associated with Pizzagate were in the Epstein files, and you can do the same thing. And users
I've read all the pages.
And many of those, at least as far as my understanding is of the conspiracy theory, don't line up with the conspiracy theory at all. If all of them.
You sure about that, bro? Yeah, he's got a point. There's a lot of trash conspiracy garbage on the internet, for sure. But there's a few theories that, right? Pizzagate. There's a lot of trash around Pizzagate. Strawman claims, but you're going to tell me that Tony Podesta's artwork and the pizza shit, $65,000 hot dogs, you're going to tell me that's all fake news? You're going to tell me that was investigated by law enforcement? Okay, who? How deep did they investigate? I really hope you're giving us some good optics, Todd Blanche. I really hope you're BSing us for a good reason and not a bad reason. Sir Todd. 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 Toddy boy. All right. CBS. taking a page out of Nick Shirley's How to Report book. Journalism for Dummies. CBS News investigation. A salon, a modeling agency, and 89 hospices. We visited a 3-story LA building being called Ground Zero for fraud. We went to take a look for ourselves. And literally, we just recorded ourselves with our phone, just like Nick Shirley. And we walked into this building and knocked on doors, just like Nick Shirley. And we only started doing this kind of investigation after Nick Shirley did. Amazing. Effing amazing. Pizzagate is real. What are you talking about? Though, there are a lot of fake claims out there associated with Pizzagate, but there is smoke there. You know, with all the food code words, with the symbolism associated with it, Tony Podesta's artwork. There's a lot of, sketchy things, but there's also fake claims, right? Like trafficking ring being ran out of Comet Ping Pong's basement. No, that was the straw man argument that was fake, that was promoted around. So, yeah. The details are important, right? Yeah, CBS is just trying to become relevant again, for sure. Rumble sucks. Well, from the user interface standpoint, it's not the best, but at least Rumble has never demonetized or censored me. You can still send Rumble rants. But, yeah. Their algorithm, their search function needs some improvement, that's for sure. Although, respect to Rumble for never giving me problems. Did you guys see this Brazilian politician do blackface? Brazilian politician Fabiana Bolsonaro, is she related to Bolsonaro? Damn, she's kind of hot. No, she's not related to Jair Bolsonaro. But, giggity, bro. Effing hilarious. She literally paints herself up with blackface while she's speaking. And she's talking about trans people. And she's like, look, me putting black paint on my skin doesn't make me black. So you saying that you're a different gender doesn't actually make you that gender.
Eu sendo uma pessoa branca, vivendo tudo que eu vivi como uma pessoa branca. Agora, aos 32 anos, decido me maquiar, me travestir como uma pessoa negra, me maquiando e deixando só o fora aparecer.
Putting on the paint
aqui,
while
eu pergunto,
she's speaking.
E agora?
And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame.
Wrong button.
Based.
Da sociedade por uma pessoa negra que jamais deveria existir. Eu te pergunto, você que está me assistindo, eu me pintando de negra.
Putting the makeup on. She goes all out too. That's funny. All right. Erica Kirk and TPUSA sent a cease and desist letter to the Project Constitution X account. This Project Constitution account is wild, dude. They're just full of shit. And what was the claim they made the other day that was so bad? Ian Carroll shared it. Oh! It was over the audio in the Epstein files that was of Haley Robson. But Project Constitution claimed it was Erica Kirk. And Erica Kirk was grooming for Epstein. The audio wasn't Erica Kirk. It was Haley Robson. And Project Constitution started this claim that Erica Kirk was found in the Epstein files. And then Ian Carroll promoted that. And then they immediately got called out and got called retards. And then Ian Carroll had to freaking backpedal his ass off, gaslight the shit out of everybody to say, I didn't say that. And Project Constitution did not delete their original post. So, yeah, this account is bad, dude. Full-on grifter. Full-on. Like, you've got your pro-Israel grifters, then you have your anti-Israel grifters. This guy's one of the anti-Israel grifters. This guy. Project Constitution. Some people dug up his history. Turns out he's got like domestic violence charges for hitting his wife or something like that. Wonder how much money this guy's making. Freaking 500,000 posts in, dude, 3 years? 2023, 4, 5, just over 3 years. 3 years, 4 months. Always look at this, guys. Look at how many posts they've made. Almost 500,000 in 3 years, 4 months. So let's do the math on that. 500,000 divided by, wait, how many months is that first? 40 months. 500,000 divided by 40 months. 12,500 posts per month divided by 30 days. 400 posts a day. A day. Assuming 16 waking hours. 26 posts an hour. One post every 2 minutes. Every day, all day. Sun up to wake up to go to sleep for 3.5 years. Is that humanly possible? That's what we call likely a team of people. So how many posts do I have? 30,000 in like 9 years. I guess I didn't have my account for two or three of those years. So let's say 6 years. How many months is that? 72 months. 32,000 72 months. It's 400 posts a month. That's like 14 a day. Yeah. Some days I might make more than others. That's not bad. 14 tweets a day. Like 1 an hour. That includes like comments and replies and stuff. But to do 500,000 in 3 years, that's one telltale sign that you're dealing with like a bot channel or, oh my God, they can't even spell. This channel is 100% fan funded and we do not accept speakle interest, large corporate donors. We will not be bought. They can't even, oh my God, look at that. They misspelled special. Tips appreciated. That is a DM button. Wild, man. Thank you, Artsy Joan, for the $20 Rumble rant. Much appreciated. Thank you, Artsy. Yeah, and then final things here. Radical Biden judge reverses RFK Jr. on trans child surgeries, other procedures. A federal judge deemed too radical said yesterday that he will grant a motion by blue states to reverse a declaration by HHS Director RFK Jr. blocking breast removal and other procedures for use with gender dysphoria. Oregon District Judge. And then we have a Massachusetts District Judge blocking ACIP, blocks all votes that the CDC vaccine committee would make, and blocking the rescinded vaccine schedule that ACIP and RFK Jr. have been promoting. We've been giving these district court judges way too much power. It's amazing how these district court judges can make rulings that affect an entire nation. Cool, guys. I'm going to bring in some music and we'll hang out. And all will be right in the universe. What time I got? 7:20. I think I might jump on to Badlands, Only Lands tonight in about half an hour. Oh, 1 hour. Okay, I got some time. More people in Rumble than YouTube? Dude, I don't know what's up with YouTube's notification system or something, but yeah, man. I feel like I'm shadow banned over on YouTube. If Erica is suing people, why hasn't she sued Candace? My thought on that is that Candace, being how like gaslighting she is, Candace would take that and say, look, I'm correct. Erica Kirk is suing me. And it would just, Streisand effect would happen. Candace Owens would double down, try to spin it as a win, and then it's just probably just not worth it. And she's not suing. Like, Erica Kirk didn't sue that Project Constitution account, just sent a cease and desist. So, big difference. Cease and desist is basically like, just stop, or there will be a lawsuit. Would be cool to get somebody to get a fan to join me on a live feed and let them ask questions. Yeah, I am not that techie though. I don't know how to get people to call in. So, requires a bit more technicality than I care to. Call-in show would be okay. Sounds fun, but requires a bunch of setup and stuff. So. I like that idea though. Will activist judges receive military tribunals? I don't know. I don't know if that's tribunal worthy, but that's for sure, like, at least remove worthy, fire worthy, disband, disbar. Yeah, call-in show is dangerous too, right? You never know who's gonna call in, and if that might go sideways. Could definitely go sideways. Did I ever see your DM about the medbed picture from the Foxconn groundbreaking event in Wisconsin? Unpilled DM? Oh no, I haven't checked DMs on Pilled in a while. I will though. I'll check it tonight. Sup, Paul? You've hosted call-in shows before. It's best to do it as a team to screen calls. Oh yeah, that'd be best. I'd need like a producer to pre-screen and everything, but you know that requires more work, more setup. Maybe someday. Man, any final questions, comments, things you want me to check out, chat about? Let me know. Otherwise, what is this? This one. Cyber attack against American breathalyzer test company locks out drivers across 45 states. And hilariously enough, they were all sober. Well, bummer. Because if you get a Dewey, or like multiple Deweys, Fever Flav, that blows. Then, you know, the court can make you put a device in your car that you have to blow into to get your car to start. You have to blow sober. And I guess some of them devices are connected to the cloud or some shit. Womp womp. Guess some people were late to work. Hey, will I be doing another clickbait live soon? Yes. I'm thinking this weekend. Sorry, I meant to do it earlier this week, but spring break, family time. This week's been really busy for me. But tomorrow, yes. Tomorrow or Sunday, we could do it. I'm thinking tomorrow. We'll plan it for my usual live stream time, 4 p.m. Pacific. Sir, please interview Dr. Michael Salla. Yeah, I used to work with him back in the day. I interviewed him on my YouTube channel many, many years ago, probably 8 years ago. 6 years ago, when I ran as far and as fast away from David Wilcock and Corey Goode as I could. I guess Michael Salla kind of got wrapped up into that. Like, I ran from him too. And Salla still, I don't know. I've changed my mind on a lot of the UFO stuff over the years. Honestly, I think Salla falls for fake whistleblowers. I think he falls for some of the fake whistleblower clickbait. You know what's sad? You know who stuck with Corey Goode through all that bullshit was James Gilliland. Like, I don't know why James Gilliland got wrapped up in Corey Goode's bullshit, but still is. Still does events with him and stuff. Like, James. Bro. So no, I probably wouldn't be doing an interview with Dr. Michael Salla. And it's sad. I really liked James Gilliland and ECETI, but I don't know. Maybe he's just like kind of old and tired. Maybe he's just sick of constantly doing due diligence and having to vet people, so he's just like, fuck it. What's the background music playing? I don't know. I just typed in house music, YouTube, royalty free. It's some random royalty free house EDM music mix that I found on YouTube. Whatever happened to that weirdo Austin Steinbart? I don't know. We'll check that out tomorrow during Clickbait of the Week. I'll put it on the notes, the show notes. And we'll check out whatever David Wilcock's doing these days too. Yeah, what's wild to me is that I remember in, it was like 2017 or 2018, I was at ECETI, and James had said something to me about Corey and David. About James thinking Corey and David were compromised. Like, he thought they were compromised or full of shit or something like that. At one point, James was not a fan of Corey and David. And I think this was in 2018. And then a year and a half, 2 years later, all of a sudden, James started defending and supporting Corey. Like in early 2020, when I got fed up with all Corey Goode's bullshit and I had to like publicly disassociate myself from them, I made a post on all my pages saying like, basically, the work was fun, but I can't work with Corey anymore. So Just letting you all know, I'm not working with Corey anymore. I made that post on all my pages, and James Gilliland commented on my Facebook post and said something to the effect of, I didn't know what I was talking about. Like, James, I know what I'm talking about. I have firsthand experience, which is leading me to make this statement. And James didn't even want to, like, get my side of the story or anything. He just said, basically, like, I'm wrong, I don't know what I'm talking about. James, breaking my heart, James. I love ECETI. And I haven't been invited back to ECETI since. So, yeah, I think James Gilliland falls for a lot of clickbait trash, too. Is Phil Godlewski Mr. Pool? No, I don't think Phil runs the Mr. Pool account, but that Mr. Pool account is full of shit sometimes, and Phil sure references it. And Dustin Nemos. Yo, we got to save a bunch of this talk for tomorrow, guys. We'll save a lot of this for tomorrow. But come hang, bring your questions. Interview Stephen Greer? No. Sorry. If I wanted to interview Stephen Greer, he'd probably make me pay him $5,000. What would it take to get me back to ECETI? I don't know, man. Who told me to just show up? Flav? You said they just show up to ECETI? That'd be something. Greer's attempts at live streams were pretty funny. What do you mean? When was that? Greer's attempt at live streams were pretty funny? Was that recent? Did he have some, like, massive technical difficulty or something? What do you mean? How you manage in the biblical part? For me, it's the most hard since I didn't believe 10 years ago, but now I do. What do you mean? What do you mean by manage in the biblical part? And what is hard for you? I'm curious. I'm curious about that comment. But I need more info on that. Good night, Half. James would be happy to see me, I bet. I think you'd be surprised for sure. Happy? I don't know. Probably just be like, ah, shit, not this guy. Chase Hughes has some good stuff. He does. I think Chase Hughes is all right. I don't know who Ralph Ellis is. I'm familiar with Michael Sarion. His fingernails freak me out. I think he needs to cut his fingernails, but I haven't seen a lot of Michael Sarion stuff, but from the bit I have seen, it's all right. He's got some good stuff too, yeah. Real esoteric. Yeah, I don't know who Ralph Ellis is though. All right, guys, I'm gonna head out. Good to have you chilling. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching, listening, subscribing, liking, doing the things to the stuff. Yeah, I appreciate you. I'll see you guys. Well, I'll see you tomorrow. Clickbait of the month. And if I don't see you tomorrow, I'll be back here on Monday. Same time. 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Have a good weekend, guys. Hopefully you got some time to come do some shit posting with me tomorrow. Some shit streaming. Will be fun. Cool. See ya.